NFL finally figuring out how to stop Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs only thrusted them into becoming an NFL dynasty. So how did they get to this point? People forget that just 10 years ago, the Chiefs were stuck in this endless cycle of mediocrity with Alex Smith. So where does it start? It starts with the veterans who have been with the team through the thick and thin. This includes tight end Travis Kelce and defensive tackle Chris Jones, who had a later surge to stardom in his career. What goes under the radar, however, is the Chiefs' ability to make franchise-altering moves. And this franchise-altering move I'm talking about is when general manager John Dorsey and now current general manager Brett Veach made a decision to draft their quarterback of the future, starting Project Mahomes. After Alex Smith would be traded to the Commanders in what seemed to be a rebuild year for the Chiefs in 2018, the ultimate gamble paid off instantly. While many assumed Mahomes could potentially be a solid quarterback in this league, no one expected this. In Mahomes' first season as starter, he would lead the Chiefs to the #1 ranked offense in the league, averaging 35.3 points per game, as Mahomes would throw for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns, the first time anyone has thrown for 50 touchdowns since Peyton Manning in his MVP season, helping Mahomes win his first MVP season in his first season starting as well. In 2019, even though Mahomes spent some time injured, the Chiefs' offense would still stay productive and would eventually win their second Super Bowl in franchise history thanks to a historic 10-point comeback led by Damian Williams, Patrick Mahomes, and Tyreek Hill against the 49ers in the fourth quarter. At their peak, his offense was always at the top of the league and could dissect any defense in any way possible. Chiefs' offense was famous for their bombs down the field, mainly the Tyreek Hill. But what made its play open all the time? It wasn't just the speed of Tyreek Hill or the arm of Patrick Mahomes, it was the attention that Travis Kelce would bring to himself, being able to work the middle of the seam and would be a weapon and a safety valve for Mahomes. On top of this, the offense would use misdirection concepts in the red zone, whether it be a handoff to Kareem Hunt or Damian Williams, or shovel passes to Tyreek Hill, where he would outrun the whole defense. Everyone benefited from the speed of Tyreek Hill, the magnitude of Travis Kelce, and the threat that Patrick Mahomes just presented himself. So how did teams figure out this offense? Over time, the numbers steadily started decreasing from that amazing 2018 season, as the Chiefs' offensive numbers would stay stagnant around the 28 to 29 points per game area, which is a touchdown less than they did in 2018, but they would always stay around the 6,000 mark in total offense. While any team would dream for an offense like this, it still wasn't up to par for what Kansas City was used to. So what even happened? One thing the Chiefs tried to do to balance out their offense is they wanted to have a feature back in their offense to not be a one-dimensional team. They started with drafting Clyde Edwards-Helaire in 2020, and while he was an average running back in the league, he was nothing to write home about, and often felt like the Chiefs would force themselves to run the ball, but then that would be an unproductive as it forced Kansas City into predictable passing situations. A sudden shift in defensive scheme started also in 2021 when the Chiefs' offense was starting to slow down. If you pay attention to statistics, despite the recent increase in volume of passing attempts going up in the NFL since 2010, passing yard numbers have gone down since 2018. For example, in 2018, Patrick Mahomes and Ben Roethlisberger led the league in passing yards with over 5,000 each. However, last season, the closest person to that mark was Tua Tagovailoa with 4,600 yards. This is because due to the NFL switching to the too high safety look to help mitigate deep plays down the field, and a lot of this helped to slow down the production of Tyreek Hill. They use a concept called pattern match to help reduce weaknesses in the zone. I saw this Reddit post on why it worked from Reddit user GrizzFan, and to summarize what he said, the too high safety is not the simple Tampa 2 or cover 2 pattern, but a pattern match variation that already has two safeties playing high, with the other DB reading receiver, and based off that route, if there's a sound right that they have to cover, they will either cover that or they'll pass off to the next cornerback or DB. This helps with the passing off of routes as well. For example, communication with Tyreek Hill's deep crossing routes down the field. Now, while this offense was still explosive, they were halted by the Bengals in the AFC Championship, especially in that fourth quarter and overtime to propel Cincinnati to a Super Bowl appearance. Cincinnati used the too high coverage against Mahomes in their Week 17 matchup as well, where Mahomes only completed 11 passes for 80 yards against the coverage. The too high look helps defenses to force interceptions. In 2022, when facing the single high coverage, quarterbacks had 8,766 passing attempts to 179 interceptions, throwing at a rate of 2.04% of receptions per attempt. Against a too high look, quarterbacks threw on 6,838 attempts to 198 interceptions, at a rate of 2.9% interceptions per attempt. In the 2022 offseason, a lot of people questioned how the Chiefs' offense would function with the departure of Tyreek Hill to Miami. With their biggest deep threat gone and the too high safety only becoming more prominent in the league, many questioned the team's future. They were developing their offensive line slowly, but the weapons were starting to look questionable, as besides Travis Kelce, their best weapons in 2022 was Juju Smith-Schuster, and the season after it was rookie Rashee Rice, and who knows if he even played the season because of that. So how did Mahomes and the Chiefs finally figure out this look? According to the Touchdown Wire, who I'll link in the bio, in 2023, the NFL saw the two safety look 38% of times compared to 30% in 2020. Mahomes saw the too high deep coverage on 261 of his 648 passing attempts in 2022, making that 40% of his attempts, ranking only second to Joe Burrow, where Burrow saw the too high look in 60% of his attempts. Mahomes started to figure out the deep coverage as he completed for 2,155 yards, 9 touchdowns, and a passer rating of 104.5 against the coverage, the league's best in 2022. His EPA, which is your expected points added, measures how well a team performs on a play-to-play basis, was 62.82 against a 2-high safety. And if you don't know how good that is, the second-ranked EPA in the league against a 2-high shell was Josh Allen, who ranked in at 36.19. So what did Mahomes do to attack the 2-high coverage? First off, massively improving your offensive line always helps, and while it took time for the Chiefs to adjust, as seen by the slow offensive start of the season in 2022 and 2023, Mahomes in the NFL finally figured out how to beat the coverage. First off, you need to be comfortable and get in a rhythm with attacking the underneath concepts. In the Super Bowl against the Eagles, what the Chiefs often did was use a vertical route to distract the safeties that took over the top, allowing players like Kelsey to work the middle of the field. On top of this, pre-snap motion like what the Chiefs did in the game with Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore helped to mess with the defense's route assignments and the communication between linebackers and safeties. This is how the Chiefs' offense looked after the departure of Tyreek Hill in 2018. The average depth of target was 9.1 yards compared to 6.5 in 2023. And on top of this, the Chiefs' average yard per attempt was 6.8 yards compared to 6.5 in 2023. Now, while the offense was still efficient, it was a complete change of scenery with the depth of targets in this offense. What also helps is the massive improvements on the defense thanks to defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo, who got some heat after his questionable play calls against the Patriots in the 2018 AFC Championship game. This team has massively improved the defensive efficiency, as in 2023 they are the second-ranked team. Teams only score on 28.5% of their drives against the Chiefs, and their especially stout pass defense has massively improved, only allowing the fourth least amount of passing yards, and they were third in net yards gained per pass attempt. This compares to 2018 when they were 31st in passing yards allowed, and they were 12th in net yards gained per pass attempt, and the low ranking in their passing yards and the mass amount of the yards they allowed could be inflated in the 2018 season due to the Chiefs being up in most of these games by a significant amount, forcing teams to be in hurry-up pass situations. But still, it's not a secret this defense, especially the pass defense, has massively improved. So what's next? The Chiefs are poised to continue to dominate the NFL for years, and when you have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid at the helm, they are ready for the future and what will challenge them in the league. The Chiefs' ability to adapt their offensive schemes and change their personnel on the fly has propelled them into becoming the next villain in the NFL, the next Brady and Belichick. The Chiefs will continue to be the undoubted team to beat in the NFL until they're dethroned. If you enjoyed this video and are actually interested in more NFL videos, please consider subscribing, as only 0.2% of our viewers are actually subscribers. Also, if you haven't already, go make sure to check out our main Today's Sports page, where we just posted a video where we went to 6 different sports stadiums in a span of 100 hours. And also, go check out our other channels like Basketball Today, Hockey Today, and Baseball Today, where we post similar content like this, discovering the secrets of every sport. We'd like to thank you all for watching, and this brings the question for who's next?